You want to be hardcore, you want to be extreme. Well, if you're like the Sandman, then you're listening to the podcast Drunk Wrestling History, dudes. And please be drunk when you hear it.
We've got Bush.
I like to fuck. Do you like to fuck?
It's just money shots, chairs all over Barrett.
Those guys with bang butts think they're a big deal. My dick is small.
What's up, drunk marks and drunk marquettes? Welcome to Drink Up, the same drunk wrestling history with fewer calories. I'm your designated host, Adam, and lawyers are telling me that they are the drunk wrestling historians.
This is Eddie.
I'm drunk, I'm old, I'm fucking tired, and I work with fucking children.
The hell?
Well, since I always mess it up, I figured why not just automate it.
That's the equivalent of an 80s baseball player getting a card in an envelope from a little kid and putting it into a machine with an auto pen attached. And just running his autograph through the machine and sending it back to the kid.
Did that happen? Is that something that
it was called
is a
an
thing?
auto
I've never
pen.
even heard.
Yeah, it was an auto pen.
I've never heard of that.
Or they had a stamp that did it.
Oh, well, I know a stamp, obviously.
Yeah, it was either a rubber stamp or it was an auto pen.
Never heard of that. That's crazy. Well,
yeah,
this is where we are.
Yeah, we've automated introductions now. And this is Scott, the man of 1,004 drinks.
Going old school, saying it.
Yeah, look at me using words and shit.
Scott has the best
well,
words.
You were smart. You picked an easy one.
Right. It's easy to remember. Yeah, yours is a little bit longer. That's what she said.
It is.
Oh, you got the Dumb and Dumber beer.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get into it when we got into what we were drinking, but yes. This is the Lloyd Christmas Double Hazy IPA. Adam, thank you very much. It's delicious.
You're welcome.
Well, since we're talking about drinks, I'm drinking some more of that Terramana that I have left over that you got me for Christmas.
Very good.
I drank some whiskey. Should we mention? I guess we should mention what we just did.
Yeah, of course, mention it.
So
we just did an interview with Sportskeeda. It was like a video, like a Zoom type interview. So I was drinking Irish whiskey during that. So I'm actually fairly buzzed already.
Very good.
Yeah, and it was cool. I'll tweet out the link. He made it sound like it should be up by Monday. It's a video interview. He's going to do like an article and then post the interview once everything's ready to go. So yeah, Monday or so is what he said. So I'll tweet the link. So you guys will be hearing this Friday, the 12th. So that'll be a few days later. So yeah, it was actually really cool. Guy was super cool. I got a DM from him a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of a funny DM because the DM was like, "Hey, are you guys busy in May?" And I was like, what? What? I don't know.
Aside from us not properly planning a Cinco de Mayo episode, I don't think so.
Yeah. And then so I got going back and forth with him in DMs, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I want to do an article on you guys for Sportskeeda." And I was like, "Cool, I read that website. I know it's a legit website. So yeah, let's do it." So we just did that. It was a lot of fun. It's like an hour, a little over an hour. We spent talking to him. So yeah, look out for that. And yeah, it was a fun interview.
Totally.
And the video is going to be on the article. So check that out when it's out. I'll let you guys know.
And there's actually an exclusive story from Eddie that breaks during that show. So definitely check it out just for that.
That's true. Yeah, there's an exclusive story that I'm not going to mention tonight that is sort of a follow-up on last week's exclusive story that I warned some of you might want to skip through. So, but it's much less graphic.
I mean, not a whole lot less, but less.
It's way less graphic.
Less.
Come on. Get the fuck out of here.
We're still talking about your cum.
Oh, here we go.
all right.
Okay.
Well, anyways, I got some vanilla
Pack for
Coke.
50.
And Eddie, take it away.
A couple quick notes. I want to say hi to Bronco's dad, 43. He is a newer listener to the show. He's been binging the show. He actually listened so far back, and I don't know if I've mentioned this in a while. He listened so far back that he ran out of episodes. because we're at episode 141 as of this show. So anything prior to that is not on the podcast platforms. They're on YouTube, so he's been listening to them there, but he's been listening to a few shows a day. So I just want to say hi to him and welcome to the show. And I hope we can keep you laughing and learning wrestling history for a long time.
Hell yeah. Hey, cheers. Broncos Dad 43.
Yeah,
Here's to
salute
you.
to Broncos Dad 43. Yeah. And the other thing is I want to say a huge congratulations to our buddy Jeff, who is at VerbalSoz on Twitter. He and his wife Cynthia are having a baby.
Aw. Amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Congrats,
it's awesome.
dude.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I should have a cheering sound effect. We clap a lot on the show, and somehow I never thought to put a cheering sound effect up.
We save it for the roast. That's why it's very special.
I guess you're right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
earn
Baby's cool. A baby's cool and everything, but it's not that important. Not roast of Ryback important.
It's like our master of puppets, dude. I mean, come on.
It's our pasture of Muppets.
Right.
Baby's not even born already comparing it to Ryback. Jesus.
Oh, no.
Well, he's got awesome parents, so I'm sure it's gonna be an awesome fucking baby.
Way more awesome than Ryback for damn sure.
A little bit. Yeah.
This baby ain't jobbing to Mark Henry at 29.
A little bit of backstory on this. We ran into Jeff at WrestleMania. That's, I guess, like 5 weeks ago now.
You and Adam did.
Yeah, just over. Adam and I ran into him day 2 of WrestleMania. It was just over 5 weeks ago. And he was like, yeah, this is cool. This is my first time traveling for a WrestleMania. And I always say that you travel to your first one, you're going to keep going. It gets addictive. It's like fucking tattoos. You know, you get your first one, you can't wait for your next one. So everybody has so much fun. They can't wait for next year. So I said, oh, are you going to go next year? Because it's closer to you, because he's in Chicago. So next year's in Philly. I mean, you can drive, you know. It's a long drive looking at nothing but trees and probably snow that time of year. But
convenient
you can drive
short
if you
flight,
want.
yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm not sure. I haven't put this on the internet, but we're having a baby. And I was like, oh my fucking God. You know, I popped huge.
Yeah, because we sell onesies.
Yeah, exactly. We sell onesies. So buy a fucking onesie.
On whatamaneuver.net.
So I was just like, well, don't worry, since you haven't put it on social media yet, I won't say anything, you know, lips are sealed. And then I was kind of, he just sort of blurted it out too. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't probe for that. I just was like, hey, are you going to WrestleMania next year? And he's like, no, we're having a baby. Or maybe we're having a baby. And then I was like, oh man, I hope he didn't just blurt that out. He's going to get heat with his wife. So I like made a point when we were leaving, you know, I was like, I did like the, you know, like the lips are sealed thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
Like
right.
I made a point of making, yeah. So I made a point of making eye contact with Cynthia as I did that, like, don't worry. And I did make a joke. I was like, oh yeah, it's on a social media, but you tell the guy who drunk tweets about it. You know, you're asking for trouble, man.
Right.
So I was like, so he finally broke kayfabe so we could talk about it and, you know, say congratulations. And it was, I got to tell you, it was really like, it was like when Michael Scott found out Pam and Jim were having a baby, and like, you just know Michael's going to slip up and tell everybody.
Yes.
And Michael knows he's going to slip up and tell everybody. And you're just fucking waiting for it to happen. You're like stressed out watching the show. Like, oh my God, how is he going to do this? How's it going to happen? So.
Well, you sated the need to spill the beans by telling me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily I didn't drink much in March. So I didn't, or April. I was sick and shit. I didn't really drink much. So there wasn't a lot of drunk tweeting going on. So
right.
Luckily I didn't spill the beans, but congratulations to them.
Huge congrats.
So
That's fucking
happy.
awesome.
Yeah.
For this.
And that's all I've got for notes.
For this week's episode, we are taking it back to the year of our Lord 1998. This is not necessarily an event that took place or that we watched, but it is something that we're reading. You know, that thing you do with books and newspapers. So we have a copy and we are analyzing Hulk Hogan's WCW contract.
This is 1998 contract.
This
So
98
this would have
deal.
been I think this was his third contract, right? Because he did a 2-year deal in 94 and then another 2-year in 96.
Oh, it was a 2 and a 2. I didn't know if it was a 4-year deal coming out of 94 and then this was his re-up.
I could be wrong. Maybe it was a 4 and a 4.
According to this, it says that the last one was in 1996.
Oh,
Okay,
so he
so
did
yeah.
2 and 2 then. Got it.
Yeah, a 2, a 2, and a 4.
Got it.
So yeah, this came out, I saw this a while ago, and I thought it was so interesting to see a wrestler's contract, and especially to see Hogan's contract, you know, like the biggest or one of the biggest, let's not go down that wormhole of who's the biggest of all time, but Hogan's the top 3 Anyway.
Okay, but at this time, 1998 WCW, that's King of the Mountain right there. This is like the top of the card contract.
And this is wrestling contracts are crazy. This is the the Monday Night War has never been hotter, you know?
Yes, and they didn't want WWF to sign him up, so you got to lock him up to a big money deal.
Right. So they were, and you got Turner's fucking checkbook.
Exactly. That's an open checkbook at that point, blank checks.
So you're doing what you need to do, and Hogan basically could ask for reading it. It feels like he could have asked for any fucking thing.
Oh yeah, take any amount on this contract we're about to go over and double it, and he still would have gotten it.
I don't doubt that. I mean, maybe double might be a little extreme, but
I don't know, dude. Do they want to chance him going to WWF? Right, because they hadn't taken over yet in the ratings.
Well, I mean, I guess everything's a negotiation. He might have asked for much more than he got, you know?
Maybe.
Like, we don't know what, you know what I mean? Because you know how that is. Well, give me this. No, I'll give you that. Well, okay, I'll come down a little bit.
Do you think he ever leveraged Vince? Do you think he ever went to Vince in, like, say, February, March of 98? Because this deal was signed in May of 98.
Okay, I've never heard that he has, and...
would you put it past him, though?
I wouldn't put it past him because, I mean, I wouldn't put it past myself. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. You want to max out that money, right?
But so check this out. I'm going to skip ahead in the contract under Section 11, Article B. WCW shall have the first right of negotiation to last no longer than 14 days following the end of following the end of the term for Belea's wrestling and wrestling-related services for the 12-month period following the termination of this agreement. So I'm sure that was in his prior two contracts.
Right.
So basically, he had to listen to their negotiations first. He couldn't just go away.
Okay.
So,
okay.
For that reason, I don't think he leveraged anything against Vince. But I think he absolutely would have. But I think he was legally binded to at least give them this 14-day window.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I think the way to do this is we've never done a podcast like this before. I think the way to do this, because you're reading like legal words and, you know, like you got to go to legal school, like the barely legal paralegal.
Legal
to
school.
understand this, you know what I mean?
They make good money, by the way.
I can't believe legal school has come back.
Ruthless aggression.
So I think the way to do this is to read an excerpt of the contract and then go over it.
Yes.
If that's okay with you. Was that what you were thinking too?
That would be acceptable. I
That's
basically
good.
just pulled out some highlights.
Okay. So you know what? I don't know how I didn't catch this before, but the very top of it, after like the WCW letterhead and the date, it's Mr. Terry Bollea and then his address. Which somehow I scrolled right to the actual letter of agreement.
Is that
which
Linda's
what it's
address
called.
still?
I don't know, but it's in Bel Air, Florida. I'm gonna look that up on Street View.
Let's do that.
If anyone wants to know Hogan's address in 1998, it was 130 Willowdale Drive. That's spelled Willadel in Bel Air, Florida. And Bel Air is spelled weird. It's Belleair, like one word. So 130 Willowdale Drive, Bel Air, Florida. You can look up Hogan's house.
Should we mail a Drunk Wrestling History t-shirt to that address?
If you want to buy it. You probably still have some left over, right?
Probably, yeah.
That would be so fucking funny.
The real Prince of Bel Air.
I think because of this website, they probably have more than enough wrestling gear. But then again, what's one more?
Yeah, maybe it is Linda's house still. I don't know. It might be the one from the fucking Hogan show, whatever that was called.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
So, okay, term, unless otherwise extended or terminated pursuant to the terms and conditions herein, this begins on May 29th, 1998, and shall continue for a period of 4 years through May 28th.
2002.
That's kind of the first part of it. So it's a 4-year deal. Let's get that right out of the way. So, immediately under bonus, you get straight into Hogan's signing bonus. So, in consideration of Bolea's performance hereunder, WCW shall pay to Bolea a bonus in the amount of $2 million to be paid within 14 days after Bolea's execution and delivery of this letter of agreement. So this dude got paid $2 million just to sign for an autograph.
Yeah, for pen to paper, $2 million.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let me back up. I forgot to mention this came out in Sonny Onu filed a lawsuit in 2000 for racial discrimination against WCW. And one of the parts of the lawsuit was that minorities didn't get paid on the same level as everyone else when they should have, like not even close, kind of. So this was like evidence in the lawsuit. So that's where this came from. So that's how we know this is legit. And you look at it and you can, it looks legit and everyone seems to accept it as legit.
Explains the
It's like typed up. It's like a scan of a page that was done on a typewriter, and some of the lines are messy and everything. So that's where this came from. It came out of an actual court case.
plaintiff stamp right on top.
Yeah, Sonny was suing him for, there was like weird stuff going on. Like one of the things in the lawsuit was like someone put up like a racist Chinese menu on the bulletin board backstage. Like it had like names of food like Who Flung Poo and Tongue Some Chick and
Oh my
Come
gosh,
Too Soon.
dude.
What the
Yeah,
fuck,
like
people?
really bad fucking jokes that would have been clever 100
Stupid.
years before that.
Yeah,
like some real highbrow comedy. So he alleged there was racism in the pay structure, and so they also got everyone else's, not contracts but salaries, which we've talked about doing an episode about everyone's salaries at this time.
Well, I don't
So
think
we'll
this
probably
is
do that at some point.
necessarily apples to apples if you're taking like Sonny Ono's pay versus Hulk Hogan's pay, right? Like you can't really compare that, but you can go mid card.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's like, why would you submit as evidence the highest paid wrestler of all time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not really what you should be aiming for. But you grab somebody off the mid card, say like a Buff Bagwell or something, or like a Steiner.
And if you were a lawyer, like if you'd gone to legal school, maybe you'd understand why this would be relevant. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like, hey, they had this much money to throw around.
Yes.
And they didn't want to give it to Sonny.
Right. Right.
Who knows? But so $2 million signing bonus.
Yeah, that's huge.
So
Just for signing his name, like you said, it's an autograph for $2 million.
So I'm going to give you the these dollar amounts in today's money. So this is $3.7 million now. So just think about that, like $3.7 million, what you could do with that. But
One
to really
gallon
put
of
this into
gas.
perspective,
So many hoes.
this is May 1998. In November 1997, Bret Hart left because Vince didn't want to pay him $2 million salary. Right?
Way to put it in perspective, dude. This is only, 6 months after the screw job?
Yeah, Vince went to go work for a company he didn't really want to work for because Vince backed out of paying him $2 million a year. Hogan got $2 million just for a fucking signing bonus.
A signature. Yeah. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's how open the Turner checkbook was, folks.
Right. So, okay, let's get into, so the next part after that in the contract is number 3, pay-per-view events. So I'm going to read a couple of the things in here. A, Balea will promote, appear, wrestle, and perform at 6 pay-per-view events per year during years 1 through 3 of this agreement. Balea will be the featured wrestler at each of the events. Featured wrestlers kind of, you can interpret that in different ways. You know what I mean? Like,
It's not necessarily the last match,
not necessarily the last match, right?
but
like,
you're the promoted match.
You're one of the more hyped matches, right? Like Floyd Mayweather and Big Show were on the poster for WrestleMania 24. You could call them a featured match.
Featured, yes.
Okay.
But they weren't the main event. But he was, I looked it up, he was in the main event of 6 pay-per-views over the next year.
Yeah. Yep.
And I actually looked it up for years 2 and 3 and the non-existent 4. Yeah. I guess I was looking for a featured match thinking that it meant main event. It looks, there are like 3 or 4 instances where it's not the main event.
But he's still the featured guy.
Yeah, looks like that is the case.
And that's over the whole 3 years.
Including his celebrity-driven matches.
Like the Jay Leno match.
The Jay Leno match, and then with D-Rod and
Carl
the
Malone.
mailman, Carl Malone. I could consider those, even if it wasn't the main event. That's a high-profile match
Featured.
enough.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it does seem like maybe year 3 it is 6 matches or 6 pay-per-views. I don't think he followed that in year 2, but then again, they kept him for year 3. So what do I know about
year 3, you're
executing?
talking 2000, right? And that was the infamous Bash at the Beach 2000,
Yes.
where he walked out of WCW.
Right. After the Jarrett the whole fiasco with him and Russo.
Right. And honestly, I don't know how the contract was executed after that. If it was still paid out to him,
There's nothing in this contract that says. I don't know.
But is he in breach of contract? Because obviously he left in that would have been June of 2000.
Well,
He hadn't appeared in.
I think he was still getting paid when he didn't come. See, I wish you would have asked me this earlier and I could have looked this up, because he still didn't come work for Vince till 2003. Right. So he was one of those guys riding his contract out. So I think he was still getting paid.
Wait, no. He came into WWE in 2002.
2000.
Oh, sorry,
2002.
Sorry, 2002.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
So a couple of years, like a year and a half after the Bash at the Beach fiasco.
Okay,
he was in WWE.
Unless it was just restructured once WWE.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. He was one of those guys that didn't fall under that WWE buyout. So his contract was up in May 29th, 2002. So that'd be like a month and a half before WrestleMania, or whatever that is, 2 months before WrestleMania. So that probably was like, hey, brother, I'll sit out the last couple months. I'll forfeit the last couple months of my WCW contract to come work WrestleMania, because he showed up in February.
That was the case, or
I think it was No Way Out, 2002.
No Way Out.
There were details about the year 4 in this, but based on pay-per-view pattern, they don't necessarily get to that year 4, but we'll address year 4 when we get further down.
Yeah, because WCW folded before the conclusion of Hogan's contract.
For the conclusion of the contract.
Of the term, yeah.
Which was the same situation with a lot of guys.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, next part. WCW shall pay Balea... hold on, I skipped ahead. In consideration for Balea's participation in the events, WCW shall compensate Balea the greater of 15% of domestic pay-per-view cable sales received by WCW for each event, or a $675,000 guarantee payment per event.
Per pay-per-view.
So his minimum was $675,000
times 6.
Right? That in today's money is $1.35 million.
Times 6.
So he's getting that 6 times a year, or he was getting more if 15%
Exceeded
of what WCW got paid was greater than that, he was getting that amount.
Plus he was getting bonuses on the buy rates.
Okay, so that's the next part. So he was getting that paid out in 3 chunks a year of $1.35 million. So
those would take place in July, November, and February 1st of years 1 through 3.
Yes. So in today's money, those would be $2.5 million 3 times a year, which amounts to $2.5 million on pay-per-view guarantees alone. This is the minimum he was getting paid for wrestling pay-per-views. So then you get into the incentive compensation. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm still dealing with this fucking cough, COVID, fucking whatever it is. I don't know.
Have you tried Thoughts and Prayers, dude? I understand they're very strong.
I'll try.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
So he would get a bonus based on his buy rate. So this is in addition to what he was getting paid, his flat rate, which was, like we said, $675,000 or 15%. And that 15% was actually 15% of what WCW made, which is 50% of the overall money the pay-per-view generated, because they split it 50-50 with the cable companies.
Right.
But so you get a buy rate. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm just going to go. It was basically for a buy rate that was 1.5 to 1.79. He got $250,000, and it goes a couple different levels up to a buy rate of 3.5 and up. He got 1.75 million per event. Now,
and WCW was doing big numbers, dude. Now that did dwindle after 98.
Yeah. So here's why he got that written into his contract. I'm positive he had just done the match with Sting right in like February.
Starrcade of 97 was only a few months before this was signed.
And he did the match with Macho Man, I think, in March.
Okay.
And those were 2 of the biggest pay-per-views WCW had ever done. So right when his contract's coming up, he generates 2 of the biggest pay-per-view buys they've ever had in the history of the company.
And why think things are going to change? Right?
Why
it's
think
going
things are going to
so
change
well at this point.
And even with Bischoff being able to see what Austin's up to, he's not thinking. He's like, no, it's Hogan. I've got Hogan.
He's got Hogan. He's got the NWO. Those are cash cows.
Yeah. So between 250,000 and 1.75 million, those are his bonuses. I don't know if he ever got the high end of that, but he definitely got several of the low ends.
No doubt.
WCW, first of all, buy rates are kind of tricky to figure out in the first place. Like, what's a 1.5, right? Like, how many buys is that?
Right.
That's when I was looking, that seems to be around 400,000 buys will get you about a 1.5. I don't know how they do their fucking math. I Googled it. I can't figure it out. But if you look at, he was in 15 pay-per-views during this run, right? That's $10 million based on his base, the $675,000
That's
per show.
just the base without the bonus kickers.
Yeah, so in 3 years, he made $10 million just from pay-per-views alone.
Right.
Which in today's money is $18.6 million. Then Bleacher Report did the math, and they estimated in bonuses he made another $4 to $6 million, which is another $7.5 to $11 million in today's money.
Damn.
So you're looking at, you know, I mean, if you max it out, you're looking at $30 million. If you go mid-range, you're looking at like $20 million, you know, 20 million he made in pay-per-views in those 3 years.
And it's crazy because you think about the roster around him, right? You had big names. You had Sting. You had Ric Flair. You had Goldberg, Hall, Nash. They had Scott Steiner, who was he was elevating his name at this point. You
Booker.
had DDP, Booker T, Macho Man
They're
Randy.
coming up. Yeah.
It's a who's who of wrestling in WCW, but all of the money, it seems, is being filtered into this one name.
Yeah. In addition to having all those things, Bischoff had Ted Turner's fucking checkbook.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Huge
But then
factors.
you start to see why they went upside down. This couldn't have been a good deal for them.
Oh, no, not at all. No, if they had kept people interested in the show, I mean, if WWE hadn't heated up the way it did, if Austin didn't explode the way it did,
Yes.
it probably would have been a good deal. But
Yeah, if they put Vince out of business, this would have been a great deal for WCW.
Until they put Vince out of business, then Hogan's getting a pay cut.
Right, exactly. Because, hey, who are you going to go work for?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Dixie Carter wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah, and her dad didn't have that much money.
Right.
Dixie Carter didn't even know what wrestling was yet.
No, she was promoting wrestling shows at her college in Austin or wherever she's from. That was like her whole credentials. She was like, oh yeah, I used to promote wrestling shows when I was in college.
Oh, did she make flyers?
In the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hung up flyers somewhere. Yeah.
Come see our mud show.
Okay, so that covers pay-per-views. Now let's move on to Nitro and Thunder. So, okay, I'll just read the whole excerpt. During years 1 through 3 of this agreement, Balea shall promote, appear, wrestle, and perform as requested by WCW at WCW Nitro and Thunder events. In consideration for Balea's participation in any such events, WCW shall pay Balea WCW shall pay Balea 25% of the gross after-tax arena ticket revenues for each WCW Nitro and or WCW Thunder in which he appears and wrestles. However, in no event was compensation be less than $25,000. So he's getting
minimum that.
He's getting a quarter of the gross. So that's before they cover any cost, anything. It's just after taxes.
Yeah, the worst he could do in 1 week was $50K if he worked both shows.
Exactly. Yeah, right. He could have a $50,000 week, bare minimum.
$40
Yeah, and then you have
ticket.
a pay-per-view Sunday.
Right.
You're clearing
so that's
$700.
So that's 25% of the gross. Now, I remember Jim Ross on his podcast years ago talking about the way they would pay out wrestlers. And, he was head of talent relations, so he did payroll. He said they would figure out the profit of the show, so that'd be the net, I guess. And he said the main event would get 33% of that, and the people in the main event would split it evenly. No, I'm sorry. The talent would get 33%, and then the main event would get a third of that. So I don't know what that amounts to. My math is terrible. But so you take a third of the profit of the show, put that into the pool to pay the entire roster who was on the show. Then a third of that goes to the main event and they split it. Hogan's getting 25% of the entire fucking house on his own.
Yep.
Right? And this doesn't even say he has to, it just says he has to promote, appear, or wrestle. This isn't for a match necessarily.
Right.
So they're not even paying him to necessarily be in the main event. He could show up and cut a fucking promo.
Just cut a promo and you're getting paid.
He's getting 25% or $25,000 depending on ticket sales. So
Yep.
now this is when they were hot, right? So let's just say a sold out arena back then would fit 15,000 people. your typical basketball or hockey arena. For an average ticket price of $30, I just went with $30 because I know back then you could sit upstairs for like 20, but downstairs was way more expensive. I just went with $30, right? That would have gotten Hogan, 25% of that would have gotten him. I didn't figure in taxes because I don't know what they paid in taxes, but before taxes, that'd be $112,000, which is $208,000 in today's money.
And you do that twice a week.
So that's a sold out show. That's a sold out Nitro and a sold out Thunder. Thunder was live, right? Was Thunder live or was Thunder taped?
It was. Thunder was live.
Okay, so that's a separate show. It's not like they can't, double up on them.
Right.
So that's a separate show.
Not including house shows as well, because you got the same deal for house shows that were not televised.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to get to that. So house shows, you're right. He got the same thing, 25% of the gross after tax. So WCW was never known for their house shows selling as well as WWE was. I don't know why that was, but I just remember hearing back then like, oh, the house show drew 10,000, drew 12,000, in an 18,000 seat arena.
Right.
But still, you draw 10,000 minimum, he's getting $25,000 fucking dollars for doing a house show.
Correct. You do one house show a week, and Nitro, and Thunder, and a pay-per-view. Dude, you're making almost $800K right there.
Right.
Minimum.
Right. You're looking at close to $1 million. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Just for 1 week.
Yeah. So here's one that I kind of wasn't sure about, Scott, and I think you might be able to weigh in on this. Number 5, television taping participation. Television taping is in quotes. And it says, during years 1 through 3 of this agreement, Balea will appear and perform at 16 mutually agreed upon WCW television tapings during each calendar year of the term. Balea's appearance and or participation at such tapings shall be at no additional cost to WCW. So we've already covered pay-per-views. We've already covered Nitro and Thunder. What would a television taping be?
Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon pay-per-view or Saturday afternoon television on TBS, which was our time was 3:00. East Coast was 6:00.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure about. If they had another show, a third show.
They had a Sunday main event for a while too, but I don't know if that ran for the duration of Hogan's deal. But they did have the Saturday afternoon show.
So that would have covered that.
Correct.
Then.
Correct.
Okay, so that makes it shit. So he got that. They got that for free out of him. But you're talking 16 days, and I'm sure he would be like, well, I'll do those on the same week I'm doing Nitro and Thunder, brother.
Right.
Which makes sense anyway, because that's when you're going to want him. You got a pay-per-view coming up. You're promoting the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
You're going to have him do all the shows in the same week.
You're on the day before. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one to me was one of the craziest ones.
Yep.
That it's 16 of those a year, but the pay-per-view or the house show one, that's just 25% of the house show.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
That's nuts. He made sick money in a week if he wanted to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like shit. Yeah. Would you say he could make 800,000? Adam, can you look up an inflation calculator? Tell me what 800,098 would be today.
Because that's not including the bonus for the buy rates on the pay-per-view.
Well, right. You're talking,
Bare minimum is almost 800.
Yeah. Okay, so next section, international arena dates. During the term of this agreement, WCW and Balea shall have a mutual option for Balea to promote, appear, wrestle, and perform in mutually agreeable international events. For purpose of this section, a mutual option shall mean that either party may propose terms for his participation in such events, blah, 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 blah.
So if they go overseas for a pay-per-view.
Basically, what that means is I'm not committing to anything, brother.
Exactly. I am not flying overseas.
Yeah, right. I'm not doing those long flights unless I feel, fuck you, pay me.
Right. Exactly.
Right, because those are just sort of left open-ended. Like, he can negotiate his own price for any international
It's a whole new contract, yeah.
Yeah, and so by international, too, what's crazy, it says, it just says international events. So that could include Canada.
That could be Canada and Mexico,
which is Canada and Mexico are right there. I don't think they were doing shows in Mexico. They might have.
Not that I recall.
But either way, or Puerto Rico. That's 20 minutes from Tampa.
Sorry, you said 898,000?
800,000.
800,000 from 1998.
So in that part, then it goes on to say, such agreement shall be reflected in a separate writing signed by the parties.
Yep.
So they'll actually write up a contract if he's going to go international.
Yeah, so if WCW decides to do an England pay-per-view, for example, that's a whole separate contract for Hogan.
the whole thing will be negotiated. Yeah, nothing's
Yep.
set in stone, and he doesn't have to go if he doesn't fucking want to.
Yeah, exactly. He
Okay.
doesn't have to be on the card.
800,000 in 1998 is 1.48 million.
So he could have made
what?
$1.5 million in a week
No, what?
if he
I'll
timed.
move that
if he-
up.
if he-
1.49, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So a million. Yeah, 1.5 mil essentially
Could have made $1.5 million in a week
in a week. Yeah,
if things worked out the right way for him, which I'm sure he did his best to make happen.
for sure.
You know, yeah. Put me on the house show before the pay per view, brother.
Yeah, exactly. That whole week before the pay-per-view, he's cashing in.
Yeah.
Plus, he gets his buy rate bonus, so he's clearing a mil.
Make that city hot. Get everybody spending. Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, and spending is interesting because, yeah, there's going to be merch that we talk about here.
Oh wait, yeah. The merch is
The
crazy.
licensing.
Yes.
So, Article 8, Year 4 compensation, which we haven't gotten to yet because it's always been 1, 2, 3. WCW shall compensate Balea $100,000 consultant fee for Year 4 of this agreement. In the event Balea provides any wrestling services in Year 4, he shall be entitled to compensation on a per event basis according to the pay structure set forth above.
Practically the
So
equivalent of
basically-
an opt-in, opt-out bonus, but it's
Yes.
but it's his call.
No, it's not an opt-in, opt-out because there's no opting in or out. It's just a $100,000 bonus.
Right, but if he wrestles, then he gets the same contract
Yeah.
he had year 1 through 3.
Right. So basically his Year 3 contract it carries over to Year 4.
Yes.
But he gets an extra $100,000.
Extra 100,000, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, which is chump change for him. It's $186,000 today, which there are places in the country where you could buy a fucking house for $186,000.
Now, do you think Hogan did that because he wasn't sure if he wanted to continue wrestling beyond year 3?
No, he probably was just like, fuck it, give me an extra 100.
Yeah, good point.
You know,
Good point.
No, if he wasn't sure he wanted to keep wrestling, he probably would have just negotiated a 3-year deal.
Okay.
You know, so then we get into the merch, and the merch is really interesting actually. Except for those specific Titan merchandising items that Balea's counsel has previously disclosed in writing and has otherwise provided herein, Balea grants WCW the exclusive rights, blah, 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 worldwide merchandising and licensing rights of Balea's name, image, likeness, voice, characters. So the big part of that is those specific Titan merchandising items.
Yeah,
That's got to be royalties, right?
It would have to be, yeah.
For VHS tapes and shit.
Yes, it would have to be.
Yeah, he must have been getting royalties.
Because there was nothing in the WWE catalog that was selling Hogan shit. So it would have
Right.
been, it would have been older stuff from like 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, and that would have been like really like a drop in the bucket. It wouldn't have been much money.
It wouldn't have been
the
much
way-
at all.
Yeah, the way royalties are typically written up, the way I understand is like they're written up in perpetuity, but they go down every year. You know, every year a royalty is worth less and less and less.
Do you think Hogan was getting a cut of those VHSs that they were still selling of his WrestleManias?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. You buy a WrestleMania 6 VHS and he's getting
a cut.
He might get 10 cents from one.
But
or
it's
something. Like
something.
that.
But like you said, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what he's getting on this WCW.
Yeah, but so basically what that addresses is that he still does have a merchandising deal with Titan.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. For use in connection, I'm going to skip that one. There are a couple in here. It's it's very paralegal type language.
Right.
Let's see. For use in connection with those wrestling related products or services set out in any license agreement entered into WCW during the term of the second renewal agreement, WCW will not enter into any license agreements for products or services which may be covered by any license agreement entered into by Balea. So they can't, WCW can't overlap on anything because he only is under a merchandise license with them for wrestling related products.
Right.
Which at the end of the contract, it's really interesting to see what WCW considered wrestling related products.
They had a shit ton of stuff. Dude, it was like 2 or 3 pages full of shit.
Yeah, and I'm going to read fucking all of them because
Nice.
because there's some funny ones in there.
And you could also see how much the times have changed and what
for sure.
what the product needs were.
For sure.
Yeah. So basically the gist of the merchandise is he got 50% of what they sold in Hogan merchandise. So now I've tried to look up what WWE guys get paid for merchandise, and I'm sure it's one of those things like we have our standard deal, but if you're Roman Reigns, you can negotiate yourself a better deal. But kind of the biggest thing I found that came up was from Ryback. Ryback said they got 25% of their merchandise sales. So you sell $100
Really?
of shirts, you get $25. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Ryback said. But then he said they get about $1 for every $30 in profit. So the takeaway from that is that Ryback's an idiot.
We should roast him. Oh, wait.
Yeah. That's kind of all I could get from that is like, wait, it's 25%, but you get $1 for every 30?
Why do I remember reading in the late 90s, like the Attitude Era, they were getting like 75 cents a shirt?
I've heard it's really low. Like, I've heard more than that, but like a couple bucks, you know, like $2 for a $25 shirt.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always been really like secretive. WWE doesn't publish that information.
It's that carny bullshit.
And it's going to be different. Well, it's just like, it's not, I mean, yeah, it's kind of carny bullshit, but it's also like, you don't want to put someone's money out there.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like Roman Reigns doesn't want me to know how much he makes.
True.
You know? But Hogan got 50 fucking percent. He also got $20,000 a month for promoting NWO merchandise.
All he had to do was wear a shirt on TV.
Wear a shirt once a month on TV, and he got paid $20,000.
20 grand.
Yeah. So that's $37,000 in 2023 money.
A month. Per month.
Yeah.
Times 12, okay?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And you know the dude would show up. He'd be like, sure, fly me into the show. I'll show up on TV wearing an NWO shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
dude, that's like us getting paid to wear
brother.
Drunk Wrestling History shirts.
Yeah, right. Oh, I wish someone paid
promote
me
our
like
own
$1
shit.
Which is also on top of the travel accommodations. So definitely utilize those. We'll get to that.
Oh, for sure, because he was first class everywhere.
Yeah, we're going to get to that because there's one part that's really fucking funny. So if he's on an NWO shirt, he gets 50% of what that makes. If it's a generic NWO shirt, like just the NWO logo without Hogan on it, he got 25% of that still. So if you're imagining it's Hogan and the Outsiders on a shirt, I don't know if that ever existed, or a Hogan and Virgil on a fucking shirt.
Yes.
Hogan gets half of that. I wonder what the fuck Virgil's cut was.
Olive Garden gift cards.
He probably would have been fine with that.
Oh, he'd love that.
Or like a voucher for the track with a couple $100 on it.
Shit, dude.
Stay hustling.
That's what I've heard about Virgil. Just saying. So Adam alluded to travel. He got, and I'm lost on the contract itself, but he also would have gotten 100% of a 900 number featuring Hulk Hogan or Hollywood Hogan, which never happened because why the fuck would WCW make that if he's going to get 100% of it?
But exactly.
But still, they were looking into that.
He should have just asked for like 80% because maybe they would have been like, cool, we'll take 20.
But the crazy part about this deal to me too with the merch stuff, he maintained the right to market his name and himself independent of WCW.
Independent of WCW. So you're right. I skipped ahead. Let me get back to that because it has a list of things. Okay, here we go. I'll read that. WCW acknowledges that Belair retains the right to exploit his name, image, likeness, voice, and character in connection with non-wrestling related merchandising and licensing, including but not limited to pasta restaurants, sandwiches, suntan oil, health drink mixers, vitamins, and merchandise related to Belair's movies, television movies, and non-wrestling television appearances.
Yeah, notice it doesn't have the Hulk Hogan grill on there.
I was just going to say that. And all the stuff in there does not have an electric fucking grill.
That is oddly
If only he had not missed that call.
Yeah. But it does have the protein shake, which is what he said he wanted instead in his other version of that story.
Pasta and pasta restaurants.
Adam, do you know about PastaMania?
PastaMania? You talking about that bitch that dumped 500 pounds of pasta in Jersey?
Oh, no.
There's a PastaMania?
No. Who did that? Someone dumped 500 pounds? What are you talking about?
That was in the news like last week.
Oh, no.
No, so Mean Gene had his own burger place called Mean Gene's Burgers.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan opened up a series of Italian restaurants, essentially. PastaMania.
Oh, fucking
I don't know if it was
way.
a series. Wasn't it just one?
Or was it just one? I thought he opened up a couple of them. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. I'm not really sure. But
Was this just to have the dick comparison to Mean Gene? He got one there, therefore I'd better have one, brother.
I think Gene's was after PastaMania.
Okay.
And Gene's
sure which
definitely
came
lasted
first.
longer.
Yeah, it was you know where it was? It was at the Mall of America in Minnesota.
The PastaMania,
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
there's
awesome.
Oh yeah, and he did like a whole opening with Macho Man and Jimmy Hart there. And like there was the I'll send you the picture, Adam. The graphic form is him in like a big yellow and red chef's hat,
Yeah.
like eating pasta.
PastaMania, brother.
Yeah, the dude actually opened a restaurant called Pasta fucking Mania.
So
I can vouch for Mean Gene's Burgers, though, dude. We had one open here in Tracy.
That was good.
Honestly, I think it was here until about 2008.
damn.
Yeah.
It was like 2007, 2008, and they just removed the yellow Mean Gene's Burger sign from the gas station marquee probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, dude, I should have fucking taken it down.
I didn't even think about it, and I drove by and it was gone, and I was like, fuck, why didn't I take that?
Son of a bitch.
I could have put it in this room. That would have been fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, that would have been fucking
been
hella
great,
cool, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, slapped it up on a wall. But yeah, it's
you think
long
that-
gone now, but it was here for a while.
Do you think the PastaMania sign is still in Minnesota?
Is
I
there
might
a
have to
mall
hop on
still
a
in
fucking
Minnesota?
flight. Yeah, if anyone is in Minnesota and knows if that sign is still there, let me know. I'm coming to get
So-
it.
We're coming from Minnesota, brother.
So
Yeah.
I am still considering going to SummerSlam, and Raw is going to be in Minnesota that following Monday, and I am thinking about going there because I want to eat some Juicy Lucy's from Minnesota. If that does happen, I'll take a look for you.
You want me to bring my fucking tools?
Sure.
Adam doesn't get that reference.
no, he doesn't get it.
Oh,
And anyone listening, if they get that reference, they're fucking cool.
Jerky.
there's so many things I need to
Okay,
learn.
so let's move on from there about PastaMania. So then we get into Marvel, which is really interesting. Adam, were you aware of this deal with Marvel Comics?
No.
Did you read this contract?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, he probably just didn't
I
understand
mean,
why they
I
kept
just
making
didn't know
it
the
understand
more.
it.
significance of it.
Yeah.
And
so
I just
WWF
don't
fought
recall
this
any
battle
projects
first.
from around that time.
Yeah.
So when he started going by Hulk Hogan, well, it was a couple years before he blew up to where Marvel got wise of it.
yeah.
But they were like, well, we own the Hulk. Like it was over the Hulk.
Oh,
And
shit.
they had to do a deal. And you know what? I should have put in my notes the terms of it because I just read it recently where it was like Marvel got like $100 for everything he used his name in. Something, it was really small, but it was one of those things where like over, how many times is Hogan's name used, in a year? Like Marvel made like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from Hulk Hogan because they licensed Hulk to him.
Yep.
And yeah, so this basically, section article, I don't know if it's section 10, article 4 covers that he still has this deal in place with Marvel because he's using the name Hulk, which is just a really interesting part of the contract.
So I'm surprised in the grand scheme of Hogan Lies that he hasn't come out and said that we can all thank him for the success that Marvel movies are having these days, for all the money that the WWF paid Marvel back in the 80s.
Well, they named the Incredible Hulk after me, brother, and then they put him in a movie.
No goddamn way that I'm ever going to say that Mark Ruffalo owes everything to Hulk Hogan.
Did you enjoy Guardians 3, brother? Well, you can thank me.
Oh yeah,
So that's it for that
Oh
part.
yeah, that was me with Thor in that movie. Yeah.
They mocapped me, brother, and the Pythons.
So then you get into travel. Travel is actually, there's very little in travel. He's guaranteed first class travel and hotel, first class hotel, which that's expensive. I know that.
Yeah, first class flight, first class hotel, like everything top notch for this guy.
Limo
Yeah.
service and $175 per diem.
Okay,
Not
that's what caught
200.
me.
$175,
right?
Yeah.
So that's $325 in today's money. That's like to cover him eating while he's on the road.
Dude, that doesn't even cover a bar bill. Like Ric Flair could do $1.75 at a bar in like 20 minutes. Right? Like what
I
kind
thought
of
it was-
money are they?
Oh, I thought it was way high. I didn't think it was low. It's not supposed to cover your fucking bar bill. It's supposed to be like your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
You
but
know what I
it's
mean?
Hogan, dude, and they're gonna give him $1.75. Like that seems way low to me.
Oh, I thought it was way high. That's funny.
No,
That's
I
funny.
went the other way because I'm thinking like Ric Flair would do $1.75 at the bar in no time because he's gonna be
what do
buying
you-
drinks for everybody, and that money's gone.
Yeah, but that's not what the per diem's for.
Okay, but look at the money that Hogan's making on this deal.
Yeah. Right.
And then $175 a day when he's traveling. That just
Yeah.
seems like that doesn't seem
well,
like
what
it's
was-
proportional to me.
Well, to me, it seemed like it was so. I thought it was a lot of money because who would spend that much to eat in a day? But at the same time, I also thought it was like, as much as they're paying Hogan, he's getting a fucking per diem. You know what I mean? That was sort of the way I looked at it. Like, he needs this on top. He can't buy his own fucking food.
Well, look, in terms of business, like, I've been around enough companies, like, the rich get richer, right? Like, of course, your highest paid guy is going to have a per diem to go out. That's why the 175 to me just seemed really low. Like, you look at all this money being accumulated on the contract, and they're like, but we're only going to give you $175 a day to eat. Dude, Hogan would do that in one sitting. Like, you take this guy to Texas Roadhouse, he's going to have, like, 5 plates of steak and shit. Like, that's... Dude, $1.75 goes like that. No problem.
I wonder if Andre got a per diem.
That's
what I would want to
episode.
see, because, you know, he went to that one fucking steakhouse in Dallas. I think where they put your picture on the wall and shit. If you eat this one, it's like a 64-ounce steak and a baked potato and a salad and like some bread or something.
The old 96er.
Yeah, and you can look up who's on there, and Yukon Erica's on there.
Oh shit.
I think that's the same place Andre went to, but I could be wrong. But he went to one of those places and he ate fucking 2 of them, dude.
Oh damn.
He got 2 64-ounce steaks. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not the same
and
place
you get
as
it
the
for
one.
free.
Where,
you know, it's.
not the same place where Homer and that trucker ate
I don't know where that is.
in Springfield.
I don't know that episode. I'm sure I've seen it. I think I've seen every episode of The Simpsons, but I don't commit them to memory.
Okay, but
I don't know. To me, it seemed low. The 175 to me just kind of jumped out as like a weird low number when he's getting 675K per pay-per-view.
it seemed weird, and
pay-per-view,
just because it doesn't seem whole. I think that's the one that really bugged me about it.
Like, dude, you fly Hogan into Vegas, right? Because they did a number of pay-per-views in Vegas.
All the
And you're telling
Halloween
Hogan-
Havocs, that Vegas is hot.
Yeah.
175 is not going to last long.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's...
but the per diem isn't to go play craps with.
No, we
that.
understand, but like, dude, a meal in Vegas, even in 98, like, Hogan's not eating at fucking Fat Burger and Mickey D's and shit, dude. Like, Hulk Hogan's
That's
going
true.
to nice restaurants in Vegas. Can't
Yeah,
get
that's
far
true,
on
I guess.
$175 a day.
He's not going to Batali's restaurant because he's all about PastaMania, brother.
Right.
Okay,
What if they have a
so
PastaMania in this fucking MGM?
getting into the rest of it, the smaller areas. So he's got approval over the outcome of matches he appears, wrestles, or performs in. He can also control. So that's approval of. So that's his creative control, right? That's what you always hear referred to.
That's
as
the
creative
whole
control.
Bash at the Beach 2000
And
issue.
there was a term in there where it was within reason or something like that. He can't do something. I'm trying to find it, but there's so much stuff on my screen right now. But he couldn't do anything crazy, but yeah, he did have control over the outcome of the matches.
Right, but that's basically in black and white. That's win or lose.
Right, but here's what was interesting to me. He has approval over the outcome of the matches he appears or performs in. Like, so is that just like legal speak, or does that mean he could have control of the outcome over a match he gets involved in? Like, he does a run in and he gets to pick who wins.
You just run in
I
Chris
would
Jericho and influence that.
No, I would read that as only the matches that he's like wrestling in.
Like,
Okay.
It's going to
Okay.
directly affect his character, like winning or losing.
Okay. Now, what it doesn't address is non-matches, because it specifically says approval over the outcome of matches.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything about stuff that's not a match. So could they make him go out there and cut a promo he doesn't want to cut? Or could they make him get his ass beat by fucking Disco Inferno backstage for no
That has
reason?
to be something that
You know?
WCW has to notice that they have available on their side. So maybe they should.
What?
Maybe they should have exercised that.
I would see that as in-ring, like the outcome of a match, like announcing the winner of the match as Hogan or not Hogan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It specifically says that he has control over that.
Yes.
It doesn't say he has control over any other stuff. So, you know what I mean? So could he get beat down by Rey Mysterio outside of a match?
I would say yes.
Like,
should-
you're right. He has no control over stuff that's not
If
in
it's
a
not a
match.
formal
I would say
match,
yes.
I would say WCW gets that call.
That's the way I'm reading it.
Yep.
So then that's basically the end of the contract. One interesting thing I thought about it was he signs it at the end as Terry Bollea and as Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
He signed it twice.
He does put AKA Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So then, okay, I'm going to quickly read the list of merchandise that WCW was prepared to make with Hulk Hogan on it. Calling cards, because this is 1998.
Yeah.
If you're younger than like 35, you probably don't know what that is.
Yep.
wrestling rings, photo plaques, inflatables, collector plates, kites, sculptures, 3D keychains. I don't know what the fuck a 3D keychain is. Clocks, backpacks, wall art, rainwear. So you get like a Hogan like rain jacket and like a, what do you call those rain boots when you're a kid? Galoshes.
Galoshes. Is there going to be a Hulk
yeah.
Hogan fleshlight?
Gotta make it that long, brother.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
You said inflatables. That got me thinking.
It got you thinking about fleshlight.
Vagina.
Action figures. Rolling luggage. They wanted to put Hogan on a suitcase. Video games. Belts. Pennants. Suspenders. Because someone was going to wear suspenders in 1998, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. Bumper stickers. T-shirts. Signs. Ski caps. I guess it's a beanie. Is that a beanie?
I would guess
Practically,
it's-
yeah.
Okay. Key rings, baseball hats, collector pins, bandanas, buttons, trading cards, decals, talking trading cards, which I've never heard of. Yeah. Seat cushions. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like a cushion you would
So
put
you
on a
want
chair
Hulk
in your
Hogan
house?
eating your ass, pretty much.
Sweatshirts, magnets, knit shirts. 144, 164, 124 die cast. So that's like a Hot Wheels.
Yes. Yes.
Patches, LCD games, because it was
Oh
1998.
yeah,
That's
the
like
little handheld
fuck.
jobs.
little
Yeah.
That's
handheld
right.
games. Yeah, you used to buy them for like $30. Yeah. Tank tops, temporary tattoos, muscle shirts, flags, Henley shirts, glass mugs, long sleeve shirts, play sets, beach towels. Page 2. Bath towels, watches, bath mats. So someone's gonna have like a Hogan
A
bathroom.
Hulk Hogan
like
bathroom.
bath towels and bath mats. Yeah. Shower curtains, Halloween costumes, Valentine's, mug tee, which it says is a t-shirt and a mug.
Okay.
Bowling league, and in parentheses, bowling balls, shirts, hats. I remember they did make those WCW bowling balls?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they made a Hogan bowling ball. I had like the lightning bolts on it and shit.
That's crazy.
Gumball machines. So they're going to make a whole machine of Hogan. Theme restaurant. They're also going to make an entire restaurant of Hogan.
Well, they kind of did.
They did. They made the Nitro Grill,
The
which
Nitro
I don't
Grill.
remember when that. I don't remember when it opened, but I went there in '98, August '98.
I was going to say, I think it opened
15
in
months later?
98.
Yeah, okay, or 90. I'm sorry, '99. I went there in '99.
Yeah, I think it opened in 98 at the MGM.
You keep talking about how your local restaurant couldn't serve snake or python anymore. Do you think it's because Hogan took all of them for his, took all the python for his? Fucking A.
We only want the 24-inch pythons, brother.
Okay, gumball toppers.
Interesting. Okay.
Any guesses what the fuck that is?
Like a they did make gumball machines in the late 90s. That was a thing. Because I have a Batman animated series one, and the top
Okay.
of it is like a...
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know if I have it anymore, but the top of it was like a Batman and Robin like statue thing. And that was
Okay.
that was for the top of your gumball machine.
That's a gumball topper.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Okay. Credit cards, box calendars, wrestle buddies, boxer shorts, posters, workout wear, toy vehicles. So like a car toy.
A car toy, yes.
Polo shirts, convenient stores. So they're going to open a Hogan 7-Eleven. Rag tops, bendables, footwear, balloons, cookie jars, commemorative stamps, hot sauces.
Oh, he's ahead of his time.
Yeah, right. Thumb puppets, painted balls.
Thumb puppets and painted balls. Sounds like a fun Friday night to me.
Pop-up cards, books, kaleidoscopes, and lenticular products.
Kaleidoscopes. What the fuck?
I
Yeah.
gotta look that word up. Hold on.
So that's the stuff that they had they basically, per this contract, they had a pre-approval to make any of those with Hogan's likeness.
Lenticular, shaped
on it.
like a lentil. Or like
Shaped like a
lenticular lenses. So,
And nothing
about
so if
pillowcases
it would
with
be
eyes
something
cut out.
like maybe not a kaleidoscope, but something miniature, you have some kind of image. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's something. I don't think they're putting Hogan on something that's shaped like a bean.
How do you know? It's in the fucking contract. He just wants to
Yeah, I
cover
think
his bases.
I think it's the one with, maybe they would have. Yeah, why not? Like Hogan, like Goya beans with Hogan on it.
Fucking A.
No nesting dolls either.
No nesting dolls.
They missed that.
Yeah. Or whatever kind of car his kid crashed. They could have put his face on that too.
Oof. No helmets.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't put on racing helmets. And that pretty much covers Hogan's 1998 contract. And really, if you look at it, we've all heard about the inflated contracts, but this is really the craziest example of it that's out there, that we can see. And it really just shows how on fire the Monday Night War was.
Yeah.
And that Vince had his contract came up right at the right time because Vince had just fired a major fucking shot at WCW with WrestleMania 14.
Yep.
And Hogan had just made them huge money with the Sting and the Macho Man matches. So
perfect storm.
The moral of exactly, perfect storm. So the moral of the story is, if your contract is going to be up for renewal, make sure it's when the competition is in the middle of a major babyface comeback.
Yeah. Massive upswing on WWE's side, in addition to a massive upswing on WCW's side, as you mentioned, with that main event coming off of him and Macho Man. It was the perfect time for Hogan's contract. Look, timing is everything. And Hogan hit while the iron was hot, and he got a massive fucking deal here.
Totally.
That takes care of
that's all I got to say about that.
Takes care of our coverage of Hulk Hogan's 1998 WCW contract. What did you think of this contract? And what do you think of our coverage of it? What items should have been part of the merchandise, such as fleshlights, or even fucking Taco Bell wrappers, and like there could be the Hogan taco, like shit, where the upper rim of the shell is Hogan's mustache or some shit. I don't know. It's just such an.
I hear what you're saying, Adam. I don't mind a little hair on the taco.
It's disgusting. I don't like it.
Okay, we got the yin and the yang between the two of you, but let us know what you think of our coverage of this episode on the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, wrestling_drunk. Tell your family, friends, heels and faces, and lawyers to like, share, and subscribe to our show. Please leave us reviews so that we could get recognition boosts and keep this drunk wrestling adventure going. On behalf of Scott and Eddie, I'm Adam, reminding all of you to enjoy your buzz, watch wrestling responsibly, drink like nobody's watching, and we'll see you all next time for another great episode, because legally we have to. 1, 2, 3, PastaMania, brother!
Peace, I'm out.
Don't end me.